Crowhill here. Today we review a Pilsner and discuss Harrison Butker. Hello and welcome to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Good evening, Pigweed.
Good evening, Crowhill.
What's on your mind today?
Well, I just heard Miss Pigweed come in the house from her day at work. Have I ever told you about how fulfilling her career is?
No.
All right. I mean, it's a pretty good job. I wouldn't call it that fulfilling.
Well, okay. That's sad.
Yeah, we're just trying to pay the bills here. Basically, she would love to be a homemaker, and well, not now that my kids are grown, necessarily, but yes, but she has always worked, and we got to keep the lights on and pay for what we have, and she would not have felt in any way that she had not fulfilled her potential
if she could stay at home with the kids.
If she stayed home as a homemaker, she just would sew and raise babies.
Yeah. I think a lot of women would enjoy that.
Well, I think a lot of people would disagree with you and tell you that no women would enjoy that.
Some people would, yes. How's that working out?
Well, let's see. We've got some guy who just made a few mild statements in that direction, and he's
caused some hair to catch fire.
It's a story that should not be a story. It's only a story because it's a story.
Yeah.
Somehow.
All right, okay, before we get into that, I want to get into this. All-purpose pills, Italian-style Pilsner.
What?
Well, okay, let's start with a couple basic things here. What is a Pilsner?
Okay.
So a Pilsner is a lager, and it's a particular style of lager that started in Czechoslovakia.
Right.
Pils in Czechoslovakia. But what is an Italian-style Pilsner?
What in the heck is that? So this is a local DC brewer, DC Brau.
Right.
And they have an Italian-style Pilsner. Well, there's that, what is it, Peroni? Is that the one you see from time to time? Right. So I've seen it. I don't think I've ever had it, and I certainly don't remember it.
There's another one that starts with a C, I think. But I've had it maybe twice because I was at an Italian restaurant, and I thought, okay, have an Italian beer.
So, doing a little research, it's a German-style Pilsner with a little bit of a dry hop that focuses exclusively on noble hop varieties. So, I'm expecting a nice German Pils with some dry hopping.
So dry hopping would give it some extra aroma.
Right, yes.
Which is, okay, that's interesting.
Let's see what we got here. And maybe some more hop flavor than a regular Pils has, which is very little.
I'm not getting a ton of aroma.
No?
It is very light and crisp and
I'm just looking for
flavorful.
Anything that you would say, well, I'm getting some hoppiness that would distinguish it from
a little bit
German
of hoppiness
Pils.
on the back end after you swallow.
On the sides of your tongue, on the back.
After you swallow, you get a little bit of that hoppiness. I'm not getting much aroma
that would associate with dry hopping.
No,
but a little bit of that hoppiness. But only if you're looking for it.
Only if you're looking for it. Yeah. But it is a very clean, refreshing Pilsner. Nice. Very nice. This is like take this out on the boat.
It's a great beer. I just don't know if. Yes, I know that if you didn't mention Italian style, I just drink it as a Pilsner and say, hey, that's good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Tastes like a Pilsner. Okay, so this guy Harrison Butker, who the heck is Harrison Butker?
So the guy has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Okay.
Yes,
2 more than I have.
Yes, for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
And
didn't he kick like the winning field goal
He kicked the winning field goal in the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So, the guy's earning his dough and his fame.
Yep.
And last year, he was invited to his alma mater, which was Georgia Tech.
Right.
And he gave, it depends who you are. Either a mild-mannered pro-family talk or a misogynistic hate speech.
Right. Yeah. And the line between those two is very, very hard to draw. Yeah. But
there is no in between.
There's no in between. And the most recent speech was for Benedictine College, which is a small college in Kansas.
I don't really know.
I think it's in Kansas.
Okay, so close to home there in Kansas City.
Yeah,
in Missouri.
And I listened to the whole speech, and it sounded like traditional Catholic conversations about marriage and family. I mean, it didn't. It's like what is the big deal here? Because after he gave the speech, apparently the liberal whatever just caught fire. Heads were exploding. People were having a conniption. There was all this reaction, but it just sounded like this is what you would hear in a Catholic talk on.
So if you heard the speech by itself, you hear this thing, and then if you get it filtered through the View, who sets its speech up, and then probably doesn't even play the speech, just tells you what it was.
They're just going to take little clips and they're going to tell you that this is misogynist, horrible.
Before you it's like put your earmuffs over the children's ears, before you hear this,
because he said things like this. Here's the kind of thing he said: get married and start a family.
Yes. So the Georgia Tech one was had fewer references to church, right?
Yes.
So there he is, Georgia Tech.
That was last year.
Last year, he says, "Look, all you people going to have great degrees from the great school. You're going to go out, probably have very awesome careers, and good luck with that. I hope you all do. But the most fulfilling thing for me has been my family and my wife, and my successful career wouldn't be possible without those things. So, good luck. Get married, start a family."
Right.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. And so many people nowadays are speaking against family and children and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
this year has a little.
This one was a little more political. He criticized abortion. He criticized Joe Biden for pretending to be a Catholic and being pro-choice.
Good.
He said we need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition.
Nice.
That was an interesting comment. He said the cultural elite want Christianity to be private, hidden away, and harmless.
That's solid criticism.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I mean, that's very much what the liberals want. He referred to DEI as tyranny.
Okay.
He said, before we try to reform society, we need to get our own house in order, our bishops and priests. And I was happy to hear that, because there are so many bishops. There was this time when I had one of my boys and we were watching the installation of a bishop, somebody being elevated to the bishopric. And there was something funny going up near the altar, and my son turned to me and said, what are they doing right now? And I said, now's when they remove the spine. Actually, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. But anyway, that's very telling, because the bishops in the church today are pretty much useless.
Well, in a way, it's like once you become a general, you stop becoming a soldier and you become a politician. Right? So you're not really acting in the best interest of the fighting forces.
Right.
You've got other things. Right. So it seems like once you've risen out of your church and up into the upper levels, well, you've got other concerns.
Exactly, yeah. He said that Catholics implied that the sacraments don't matter when they allowed COVID shutdowns. So he was criticizing the church. He was saying, why did you allow this stupid fear over COVID to shut down churches so people weren't, because it's very basic to Catholic theology that people should be coming to church and receiving the sacraments. And the church just kind of acquiesced and said, okay, fine, we'll just bend over.
Okay.
He said our bishops are more concerned about money than the teachings of Christ.
Boom.
So I mean, he was harsh on.
All right.
He said start with our own house, and he did. He then congratulated the women for their incredible accomplishment of graduating with a degree. So all this stuff about he was dissing them or something is not true. But then he said women have had the most diabolical lies told to them. Some may pursue careers, but most of you, he said, look forward to being mothers. Which, if you're speaking to a Catholic audience, that's I mean, a lot of women go to Catholic college to get their MRS degree, right?
Yeah.
He said his wife embraced one of the most important titles of all, homemaker. Her life started, he said, when she became a wife and mother. She says she's never regretted her decision to be a mother rather than having a career.
Right.
Like, why would you?
Yeah. So all right. So that's it. So this is where the hair on fire starts. The criticizing the Catholic Church.
Nobody cared about that.
People were so removed from the church that it didn't even matter. And then so he's saying the most important job in all of the history of mankind has always been women making babies and raising the next
right.
How
How can you dispute that?
Yes, and we want you to embrace it and enjoy it and be fulfilled in that.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Right, yeah. He said people can be happier when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will. And then he said, we must stop pretending that the things we see around us are normal. Which, I mean, that's a pretty good message.
The normalizing of all kinds
Craziness.
of perversions, yes, it's just how it goes.
And then he got to men. He said part of what plagues our society is the lie that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. Mm-hmm. He said men set the tone, and when that's absent, we see chaos. Be unapologetic in your masculinity. That had to really chaff the liberals, because masculinity is like, when do we ever see the word masculinity without the word toxic in front of it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. What was the Babylon? The Babylon Bee today was the least masculine generation in history finds masculinity toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So he's also an outspoken advocate for the Latin Mass, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And he said to all the people at Benedictine College, when you get a job and you move someplace, make sure you move someplace where there's a good bishop, there's good priests, and they offer the Latin Mass.
Oh,
so I mean, it was a pretty strict conservative Catholic.
But I didn't hear any of that stuff, because all of the criticism was just focused on the one thing of telling women that they probably will enjoy being mothers.
Well, that's the one thing. That's one of the things that we learned when we did our Pearl Davis show, is that you can't criticize women.
Right.
You can't criticize any decision that any woman makes ever.
Right.
It's just not allowed.
Yeah, and if she wants to be a slut, then you need to celebrate that too.
That's right. So he said, make no mistake, you're heading into mission territory in a post-God world. So it was definitely a conservative, traditional Catholic message, but he was speaking to a conservative, traditional Catholic university.
Yeah.
So what is the problem here?
Yeah, there's things I said. He didn't say any of those things at Georgia Tech. It was just, good luck with your career, mm-hmm. but get married and start a family. That's actually going to give you more satisfaction. Yeah, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And so he
gave
leans into the Catholic Church and all of that, at a Catholic setting.
At a Catholic setting, and he was speaking on his own. He wasn't representing anybody else. He was just speaking as himself, and they invited him to come. So why are people upset? I mean, the first reason people are upset is, how dare a man say anything about a woman's choice? You can't do that. Women can criticize men's choices all they like, but men can never criticize a woman's choice.
And because we're so steeped in feminism that we know, with the little bunny ears, we know that being a mother, a wife, and a homemaker is a form of oppression.
Yes.
Just by definition.
Yes.
And to deny that is misogyny, and don't make me go off about this fake word, which is... There is no such thing.
At least it's not a phobia.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it might as well be because so. Yes, you know what? There are some serial killers who were abused by their mothers, and as a result, they hate all women.
Mm-hmm.
That's misogyny. Suggesting that a woman might also be happy not not spending all of her time working for some angry boss instead of being at home with her kids.
Right.
That's now the new level of misogyny.
Right. It's crazy. So let's get to the complaints. What did people have to say about this? Like the mainstream media, immediately wanted them fired.
Or you just get some ex-cheerleader who used to work for him, and then actually just in the bubble that they live in, assumed that everybody shared the outrage that she shares.
Yeah.
That I guess he won't be on the team very long, will he?
That is the complete.
What are you talking about?
I listened to this great show on the Daily Signal podcast recently about. Where they interviewed people in sort of the top 1% elite, liberal elite, and their positions on things. And they asked them, do they believe that their views are representative of the majority?
Yeah.
And they were so delusional. They thought that their extreme left views actually represented the majority of, and they couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, right. The numbers would come out that 23% of the people agree with you,
right,
and you are convinced.
Yes, and you're convinced that you're representing the majority. Now, I don't know if they're lying or if they're lying to themselves. I think or they're just deluded,
or they're thinking, everybody should agree with me.
Right,
because I am the 1%.
Yeah, maybe it's the true Scotsman sort of fallacy.
Yeah.
Thinking people will agree.
Well, they're not true Americans if they don't believe.
That's right. Yeah. So there was a petition to fire him because of the harmful and unacceptable remarks he made.
So harmful. Yeah. Unacceptable.
So here's some quotes from the petition. His comments were sexist, homophobic, anti-trans, anti-abortion, and racist.
Okay.
These dehumanizing remarks against LGBTQ plus 1578 individuals, attacks on abortion rights and racial discrimination perpetuate division and undermine human rights.
Okay, can I comment on that? That has been copied and pasted 1 million times without any actual thought to who you're applying it to.
Yes.
And it's like, did you hear the speech? No. Paste.
That's right. Yeah. The only thing you have to change is whether it's his or hers at the beginning. What are they doing using his? How do they know what his pronouns are?
Look, that's actually transphobic.
I know. Right? Exactly. What are they doing using those pronouns? Okay. The petition continues. These comments reinforce harmful stereotypes that threaten social progress.
Okay.
They create a toxic environment that hinders our collective efforts towards equality.
Yeah.
Our collective, who are you speaking for? Diversity and inclusion in society. It is unacceptable for such
copying and pasting.
Yeah, it is unacceptable for such a public figure to use their platform to foster harm rather than unity. So, who do these people? They think they're representing?
Yes.
What? Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. I don't believe a word that they say.
As we all agree. Yeah, and then you've got then the chiefs say, "Hey guys, free to say what he wants," and who else has got and the major. Figures on his team.
Have you heard of a show called Hoda and Jenna? On the Today show, Today with Hoda and Jenna?
Can't say I have.
It's on one of those cable networks that 5 people watch.
Okay.
Like MSNBC or something like that. So I watched a little bit of their rant today. They said, stop speaking for the women out there. In other words, it's once again Pearl Davis thing. Men have no right to criticize women.
Right.
It's demeaning to women to imply that their vocations outside of home and motherhood pale in comparison. Why is it demeaning for somebody to have an opinion about which thing is more valuable? What if somebody came along and said being a doctor is more valuable than being a cobbler?
Right.
Okay. Is it demeaning to anybody to have that opinion? What? Why?
Guys got an opinion.
Right. And then there's this thing about somebody speaking for women. In other words, women can't be criticized. And then Jenna, I think it's Jenna Bush. who's the great disappointment. She said, it's so hard to be a woman.
Yeah, because, you don't...
Because nobody ever...
There's no advocacy.
Nobody ever stands up for women.
There's no advocacy whatsoever.
Ever.
There's no organizations. There are no special days.
No.
There's no special praise. There's no... You never set aside the National Association for blank women ever.
Right. Is there a National Association for Men? Basically, the thing is only women can give advice to women. Keyshawn Johnson, who's a football player, I guess, right? He basically he caricatured Butker's comments as he basically told women to get back into the kitchen. And then Michelle Beadle, I don't know who that is, said, as a woman, I think everything he said is garbage. When you hide hateful feelings behind a cloak of religion, I roll my eyes and stop listening.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. How is it hateful to say it's a good thing to get married and have children and prioritize your family above career? How is that hateful?
Well, it's not at all. What he's doing is, and he mentioned it earlier in that speech, giving women the freedom to not be brainwashed by feminism.
Right.
Because I think there's some compulsion, well, obviously there is, all in college, that feminism is just the water that you swim in.
Yes.
And it just is the way.
Yeah.
And so if you're privately thinking to yourself, am I some kind of a weirdo for not buying into the entire feminist lie?
Yeah.
He's saying, no, that impulse is exactly right.
That's right.
But it's not. No one is suggesting that women can't have careers or enjoy them or be fulfilled by them or do both. Apparently, his mother was a physicist.
Right.
And so what does that mean? That she didn't relish
Family,
raising children?
Yeah. Sure.
But there's time. Or like I was saying before the show, my sister was a school teacher. After college, got married. When she had kids, she raised her kids until they were old enough to get on the bus and come home, 2 hours before her. Mm-hmm. And then got her master's degree and, is still...
Right.
Is a big deal in the public school system.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Right. So there was some support. Some people came out in support of Harrison Butker, and probably the biggest support was his jersey sold out.
Isn't that something, right? So also, I'm sure all of these people are going, wait for the backlash. He's going to be fired. The guy will never work again. Everybody knows what a horrible, hateful speech that is.
Right.
Hey, wait a minute. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Why?
And for any of you, sponsors out there, we wouldn't mind some Harrison Butker jerseys. I mean, if
you could get them.
I know if you can. I think I wear a medium. By all means, send them our way. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid defended Butker, as did Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Bill Maher came out and said, I don't understand what the problem is. He's just expressing a conservative Catholic opinion. Aren't people allowed to have that opinion? I mean, come on. It's really weird that Bill Maher is like the voice of reason these days.
Yeah, well, I heard him on Megyn Kelly the other day. And I'm like, all right, there's old Bill.
Yes,
he's back.
Yes, I heard some.
But which is good because I don't
want him to be
I don't need him on my team.
Right.
I just want him to be... he's better as a sensible, old-school liberal who realizes where liberalism has gone wrong than he's switched teams. Then he wouldn't be any value to anybody.
That's right.
It's Chelsea Handler.
Wait a minute. Chelsea, isn't that a Supreme Court justice?
No. It's not... It's not...
won a Nobel Prize for something.
No, well, I mean, she's as smart as that.
I know she's a really, really smart woman.
There's room. No, she's just a late night talk show comedian, feminist comedian lady.
Yeah.
She doth protest too much. She's one who keeps making sure that everybody knows how happy she is being an unmarried 49-year-old childless woman,
right?
And how great it is.
She's saying that publicly, and then she's crying in her beer,
probably in her box of wine with her cats. But I don't know. Maybe in her heart of hearts she is actually happy, but she can't stand the idea of anybody being happy in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
So again, she is saying that Butker's wife must be essentially a hostage,
right?
And
she said something like
actually fulfilled.
Blink twice if you need help.
Yeah,
right.
And her
kind of smarmy and
There's a place for that humor. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do much for me, but Anyway, that's Chelsea.
So how about what is the standard that people are promoting? I've got two possible ideas for you.
Good.
The first one is public figures need to avoid politically sensitive topics.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, is that possibly the standard? I don't think so.
No.
Because liberals come out and say liberal stuff all the time.
In fact, you might be on the chopping block for not expressing.
Exactly.
Like how come I haven't heard your pro-trans stance yet?
Right.
Taylor Swift or whatever.
That's right. So which leads me to number 2, which is clearly what the standard is. Public figures must stick to the liberal playbook.
And in this case, it's not that veering off of the liberal playbook, is a tisk tisk. It's you must be destroyed.
Yes. Yeah. You have to lose your job.
Yeah.
We have to make an example of you. We need to destroy you. Yeah, that's right. So they want religious people to keep things to themselves. Basically, freedom of religion means you can think whatever you like, just don't say it or act on it.
Right. And you can say prayers while you're in church, but don't live your life that way.
Yeah.
Which, pretty sure that's not how religion works.
I don't think that's how religion works. That's right. Now, my reaction to this whole thing is this is basically the feminist mindset reacting against a traditional Catholic. So I want to ask the culture, how's feminism working out for you? I mean, are women happier now than they used to be?
Nope.
Are they more fulfilled? Is there more or less depression?
Right.
Right? I mean, basically, feminism has been a poison pill in our society. It has destroyed so many things. It's destroyed family. It's hurt women.
It's destroyed dating.
Yeah.
It's destroyed sex.
Right.
People aren't getting laid.
I know. Feminism is like a catastrophe. And it's like feminism is worse than malaria, And people with this feminist mindset are criticizing this guy who's saying stuff that's been the foundation of human society for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes, but once you get inculcated in the patriarchy, then you go, yes, it's been around forever, and women have been oppressed and suffered. Now they're finally free to live their true lives with their cats.
Right. All right, I got one last thing that I saw on social media that I thought was really amazing. Was somebody said, how come all these people who were against Colin Kaepernick are now in favor of Harrison Butker?
What?
It must be because Colin Kaepernick is black.
Yes,
that was the claim.
Well, that had to be
that was the claim. That's the only possible explanation. And I was like, really? You can't see the differences are so clear.
There's so many.
Yeah. So Colin Kaepernick was in uniform, on the field, representing his team, representing the NFL, pushing it into the face of people who didn't really want to hear anything that he had to say.
Right. That's if they were pushing similar messages.
Right.
But then the message itself is so extremely difficult that I don't even know how you.
How could you equate the two?
How do you equate the two? Right. One is an anti-American. What would you say? A very not selfish, but just unappreciative.
Right.
view of the world, and the other is appreciate women.
It's like mom and apple pie. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're telling me the reaction to the two is a race thing? That's when you're just looking for race.
It's like, yes, exactly. I can't understand it, therefore it must be racism. Yeah, it's pretty tiresome. Yeah, and Butker was speaking in his own capacity, not representing anybody, to people who wanted to hear what he had to say.
Right.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, that's pretty tiresome. Way to go, Harrison Butker. And once again, if you guys want to buy us jerseys, feel free. Yeah. If you can find them, because you probably can't. All right, we got anything else?
Finally, it's here.
What's that?
The most fabulous month of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Pride Month.
Oh, gosh. I thought pride was a deadly sin.
Oh, no. Not in June, baby.
Not in June.
Not in June.
No.
Yes, finally, everything can be just draped in rainbows and glitter. And,
I'm so happy about that.
Yes, and, loud parades of men in thongs gyrating in the streets.
Yeah,
it's just something
that's what I want to see.
Yeah, but what I really want to say about this, not only is it great, it has to be done, because otherwise the LGBT2 spirit, whatever else,
right, yeah,
you wouldn't even know they exist.
Okay.
It'd be 11 months of them basically invisible. So being pent up for 11 months, they finally get to let you know that they're here because they've been erased for the first 11 months.
Well, okay, that might be true, except I think from February 19th to 25 is Aromatic Spectrum Awareness Week.
Oh, is that what it is? Aromatic?
Oh, no, sorry, it's aromantic.
Oh, the aromantic.
Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week. That's
a whole week.
Sort of seems LGBTQ.
So that's well. Okay, I'll give you that. There is March 21st to the 25th, which is the LGBTQAI plus Health Awareness Week. That's a whole week. So,
and then March 31st. We're still in March. March 31st is Transgender Day of Visibility.
Okay, which sometimes replaces Easter.
Yeah.
Then April 6th we have International Asexuality Day.
April 13th we have International Day of Pink, which is a day opposing homophobia, which doesn't exist.
Okay, April 14th. Day of Silence. I'm not sure what that is, but somehow that's related to the LGBTs.
And April 26th is Lesbian Visibility Day because they're invisible for the rest of the year.
Yes, and then we're still in May. We got May 17th, the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia.
There's a lot of phobias going around. So many phobias. May 19th is Agender Pride Day.
Okay, and May 22nd is Harvey Milk Day.
Lovely. May 25 is Pansexual and Pan-Romantic Awareness Day.
Okay, and finally we get to the glorious month of June.
Pride Month, yes.
And within that,
within the month, there's Stonewall Day on June 23rd.
Yes, and still in the month is June 28th, International LGBT Plus Day.
Okay, and July 14th, gosh, we had a big gap there. There's an entire 16 days between, and then we had International Non-Binary People Day.
Okay, there's July 16th, International Drag Day.
And September 16th to 23rd is Bisexual Awareness Week.
The whole week. Okay, then we've got September 23rd, this Bisexuality Day. Did we
celebrate bisexuality? Yeah, I think we did. The entire month of October is LGBTQ History Month. Now that's very discriminatory. It's only LGBT. Only LGBT. They've
no Qs,
no Qs, pluses, or any of that other stuff.
All right. October 8th we have International Lesbian Day, which is different than Lesbian Visibility Day.
Sure, that's right. Because right. October 11th is National Coming Out Day.
On October 17th to the 24th is Gender Fluid Visibility Week.
Okay. And October 19th is International Pronoun Day?
Yeah.
Okay, International Pronoun Day.
And on the same day is Spirit Day, which is support for LGBTQ youth.
And then we have another week, October 23 to 29, Asexual Awareness Week.
All right, and then within that you have the October 26th, Intersex Awareness Day.
Another full month, the month of November, is Trans Awareness Month.
And then we've got, and within that is Transparent Day.
And November 8th is Intersex Day of Remembrance.
Right, and then now we got a week, another week.
One.
Transgender Awareness Week.
And then finally, November 20th, Transgender Day. Transgender Day of Remembrance. If it weren't for this month, how would we even know?
You wouldn't even know the LGBT.
How could you know?
Yes, I mean, if you don't have, I miscalculated, 145 separate days.
Okay.
Designated to the LGBT, it would be like the Holocaust.
That's more
you
than
would be erasing them.
More than a third of the year is dedicated to one kind of awareness, visibility, whatever day, and it's it's going to pop up in your Google Calendar.
Yeah, and you can't delete it out of your Google Calendar.
Exactly.
I've tried.
Yeah, right. So. How would we even know that they were there if we didn't have all these? And now, how many days? How many days do mothers get?
They get 1 day, but they still kind of have to work that day anyway. They still end up cooking anyway.
Right, and then fathers, what do they get?
Yeah, usually not much. They get half a day probably.
How about a day for
he ends up grilling.
Mothers who stay at home with their kids? Is there a day for them?
No. How about intact 2-parent family day?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
No, that would be a hate crime.
Sure, yeah. Or parents who raise kids to be decent, patriotic members of society. How about that day?
More hate.
More hate. Yes. So I would never have even known that any of these people existed if it weren't
for these 145.
143 5 times that they stick it right in my face. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are in crazy land.
And some people, they can't wait to get started. In the end of May, they already have to bring out all of the items in May to get ready for the month. So really, you can add another week because you got to stock the shelves and hang the banners. You have to do that for a week ahead of time. And, of course, the White House has to get a flag the size of the White House to put over to drape the entire thing in. So
and flash lights up on the thing. And oh my gosh, yes, we are in backwards world, and it's pretty tiresome. But there is one thing that I can point to that gives me a little bit of hope.
Well, please do.
Beer.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.